people will sit there and use Dak Prescott's playoff performances and his playoff resume against him. My question is this: why don't we do that for other quarterbacks? Why don't we do that for Justin Herbert? Why don't we do that for Lamar Jackson? Why is Lamar Jackson in the top 3 if he has the playoff performances that he's had? And what I mean by that is this, right? We can look at Lamar Jackson struggle in the playoffs. Me personally, I have him as my second best quarterback in the NFL. I have Justin Herbert as the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. I have Dak as the 6th best quarterback in the NFL. But somebody will look at my rankings and say, oh, you have Dak at number 6. He needs to be 15th because of his playoff performances. But they're not going to move Lamar Jackson from that top 3. They're not going to move Justin Herbert out of that top 10. They'll move Dak Prescott to 15 because of his playoff performances. No. If we're going to do playoff performances, make sure that you're holding Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson the same standard. I believe that Dak Prescott has surpassed Matthew Stafford in quarterback rankings just as a quarterback as a whole. Like right now, obviously Matthew Stafford can still whip it. He can still make a lot of the throws that Matthew Stafford can make. But the problem is when Matthew Stafford is dealing with pressure, his ability to create out of structure isn't what it has been. It isn't what it is for Dak Prescott. And I don't think there's a gap at all when it comes to their ability to stay in the pocket and deliver the football. Both of those gentlemen do a fantastic job doing that. But Dak Prescott, when the play breaks down, he just has more juice than Matthew Stafford. And I think as a pocket passer, like I said, there's not a gap. It's dead even. You can go one way, you can go the other way, but it's not some big gap. So I believe that Dak Prescott at the current moment is better than Matthew Stafford. And the reason why is because the gap as pocket passers, it's not that big. Dak Prescott is better at dealing with pressure. I think that the arm strength now is comparable because Matthew Stafford is starting to get up there with age. And Dak Prescott, he looks like a completely different quarterback. Like, obviously, he's always been a very good quarterback, but it looks like he has taken another leap in his progression and his development. And I think part of that is him using his arm to make things happen, like you see from a guy like Justin Herbert or a guy like Matthew Stafford. His arm talent looks better than it's ever had in his entire career, which is the reason why I say, yeah, I'm ready to put Dak Prescott over Matthew Stafford, because I think where the reason why people think Matthew Stafford is the 5th best quarterback in football is because of what Matthew Stafford has done in the past and not what he's doing right now. Yes, Matthew Stafford is doing some really good things right now. But again, I just look at that and I say he's not as good as he has been. I know PFF is grading him very highly, and I understand why, but I just see a guy who can just strictly stay in the pocket. And that's really all you're going to get from Matthew Stafford. But when the play breaks down, like it's eventually going to, can Matthew Stafford give you anything when that happens? Yeah, he's able to navigate in a pocket, and he's able to make things happen that way. But in terms of escaping the pocket, throwing the ball on the run, yeah, Matthew Stafford can do that. But can he get to the point where he can do that? Can he use his legs to get to a spot to deliver the ball on the run? I don't think he can do that nearly as well as a guy like Dak Prescott has. And I think Dak Prescott's evolution as a pocket passer and what he does pre-snap, I don't think Dak Prescott gets enough credit for what he does pre-snap. Pre-snap, he is one of the most cerebral quarterbacks, if not the most cerebral quarterback in the league. The way he's able to get defenses in certain looks, call out certain defenses, obviously now with Brian Schottenheimer using the shifts and the motions, he's really good with identifying man, zone coverage. Again, might sound like small things, but when you add all the small things up that you ask a quarterback to do pre-snap, Dak Prescott is doing that at a very high level. And this isn't any slight towards Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is still a very good quarterback. But to say that he's the same Matthew Stafford that he's been over the past few years, I don't think is accurate. And not only that, what we've seen from Matt Stafford the past 2 years, he's been very good he's been like a game manager plus, if I should say. There are games where he really steps it up and carries his offense. But I think what Matthew Stafford is doing a very good job of right now is getting the ball where it needs to go. And when they ask him to do more, he does it. But he's not doing it to the extent that we see from Dak Prescott, where literally right now the Cowboys are saying, yeah, Dak, we're going to need you to get it done every single game. And yeah, I get it. They're 1-2, but I would also say this. I think he's played 3 very good games. I think he was excellent against Philly and New York. And against Chicago, he was really good. It's kind of just a shame that their defense is as bad as it is, because I don't think here's the thing. And this is what I don't understand. People will sit there and use Dak Prescott's playoff performances and his playoff resume against him. My question is this: why don't we do that for other quarterbacks? Why don't we do that for Justin Herbert? Why don't we do that for Lamar Jackson? Why is Lamar Jackson in the top 3 if he has the playoff performances that he's had? And what I mean by that is this, right? We can look at Lamar Jackson struggle in the playoffs. Me personally, I have him as my second best quarterback in the NFL. I have Justin Herbert as the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. I have Dak as the 6th best quarterback in the NFL. But somebody will look at my rankings and say, oh, you have Dak at number 6. He needs to be 15th because of his playoff performances. But they're not going to move Lamar Jackson from that top 3. They're not going to move Justin Herbert out of that top 10. They'll move Dak Prescott to 15 because of his playoff performances. No. If we're going to do playoff performances, make sure that you're holding Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson the same standard. Not only that, a lot of these quarterbacks that you like aren't even getting to the playoffs in the first place. So what are we even talking about? So that's where I come to the conclusion, all right, look, we need to make sure that we're accurately assessing what's going on here in the NFL, because it's just, I think there's a lot of disgusting narratives that are being played out with NFL discourse.